Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. You may be wondering, why am I in Minecraft? Well, I did say that I was going to do a separate thoughts video on Resident Evil, so I figured why not just do it in Minecraft in a nice relaxed setting. So the goal for this is to basically just build a house and talk. And I know I said I've not been feeling well over the last few days, and I have not. Hopefully going to the doctor today to get that uh, issue checked on and see what's happening. But I decided that it wasn't fair to you to go a few days without a video, so I hopped back in and decided to go ahead and make one. So, okay. So, as far as Resident Evil is concerned, I greatly, without a doubt, enjoyed the game. I loved it. It has been one of probably my favorite games, one of my most favorite games that I have played recently. Um, it blew me out of the water, honestly. The story was great. It was tidbits here and there, and a lot of kind of not. It was on the nose, but it's at the same time not on the nose to the point where you had to read and look at other tidbits within the game to get the entire story. And honestly, going through and doing a second playthrough of it would not bother me in the least. I greatly I enjoyed it that much to go through immediately after finishing it and want to play it again. I do apologize. I know I said in, I think, part 6 that I was going to include the Mia ending as well. But if you saw, I believe it was part 6 or part 7, I did not make a separate save file when before I made my choice between Mia and Zoe. Unfortunately, right now I do not have the time to go back through and play 6-7 hours worth of a game just to do the second ending. So for that, I do apologize. But the ending, I know, having now finished the game and kind of looked at some stuff, obviously the Mia ending is canon to Resident Evil 8 and to the entire storyline as a whole. And I wish I'd have been smart enough to realize at the time that I had messed up to give everybody the chance to see both endings as it should be and as it's canon. But I am ready to play Village. After this video, that should be the next one coming out, will be Resident Evil Village. I know there is DLC for 7, but honestly, I think at this point, everybody's kind of had enough of 7, so I'm going to skip it and just launch straight into 8. Hopefully, there's not too much that's missed with me skipping the DLCs. If it is, then maybe I'll go back and do the DLCs after Village. But so to keep your eyes out for that. That will be happening soon. So this should come out today. So it should be coming out Wednesday, the first part of Village. That being said, if I'm still not feeling any better, or if I get worse, then that might be pushed back to Thursday. So we'll go ahead and get us a little bit of a... Okay, we're not going to mine here because there's water, but we'll get us a little bit of a mine going so I can get some stone. The mechanics of the game, I greatly enjoyed the way the game worked. It didn't feel clunky. It didn't feel ungraceful or anything of the sort, even though we did move very slowly. That, I mean, obviously added to that kind of feeling of unease and almost helplessness in a way. But at the same time, as you kind of went through the game, it also added more at least to me, added more to the confidence of the characters as they came to the final confrontation with Evelyn. And kind of walking in that, quiet but assured manner. And it controlled beautifully. The ducking, the fighting mechanics were fantastic. Honestly, I genuinely believe that increasing the speed with which you move and fight would be more of a detriment to the game than it would be an enhancement. I know some people despise being made to move that slowly. As being someone who plays Doom, I enjoy the feeling that I get from Doom, being able to move with such speed and such aggressiveness. But that also highlights the two different aspects and points of the game. Whereas in Doom, you're supposed to be this overpowered, just beast of a character. You're playing as two pretty much regular humans who come into contact with something that at least Ethan's never experienced before. I can't speak to Mia because, obviously by this point, Mia was working for, I guess, the Blue Umbrella Corps that Chris was at the end. The ones that rescued Ethan. I'm assuming that's who she worked for. I could be wrong. It could be a different rival organization. But it still goes to show that, they're just regular people. There's nothing too special as far as like having powers or being supernaturally enhanced. And it's just having movement speed and reaction time speed and just combat speed enhanced would be an overall detriment to the game. I would be interested to see if Capcom managed to change it around, maybe add some faster movement speed to see if that would enhance it, or if anybody else would agree with me that it would be more of a detriment. But if they could pull it off and make it more akin, I guess, to the game, that would possibly work. But overall, it was very, very well done, very well crafted, and I'm very excited to play Village. I wanted to launch into Village as soon as I finished with 7, but I feel like that would have been an injustice to the game and to Capcom with me not taking the time to sit there and just kind of let it sink in what I just played and went through. So it was hard to restrain myself from jumping right into it. Obviously too, I thought about doing the DLC, but like I said, I'm a little bit crunched for time. I don't feel great, and I really just want to play Village. So that's what I'm going to do next. But honestly, if they can reproduce, or not reproduce, I guess reproduce wouldn't be fully correct. If they could enhance and replicate, and I guess enhance and take beyond what they did for Biohazard and make Village that good and take it past that and make it better, then I don't see any problems. I've managed to stay spoiler free so far, which I know is hard to do with social media being what it is and everybody and their brother playing Resident Evil Village and having already beaten it by this point. But so far I've managed to stay spoiler free. My friend Eric, who I mentioned multiple times throughout, who has a channel as well, which is on the homepage, go check him out. He has already watched other playthroughs of it, and is excited for me to get into Village, just to see how I go about it and how I react to stuff, because he knows what's going to happen, whereas I don't. So he's super excited to see how this pans out and how I react to everything. And I say so far, I have not seen any sheep to get a bed. I do see a pig. I think maybe saw one sheep. But he's super excited to see how I take Village. I've seen, obviously, from the trailers at this point, that has the lycanthropes, or the lycans, the werewolves. There's you know, the 9 foot tall lady, Dimitrescu, and then there's, you know, the dolls and all that stuff. But as far as everything in game and what happens, I don't know. It's been eating at me to get in to start playing and to let it all pan out. But okay, I guess we can do the floor like that, since messed up the one block. But I will say that there are some things that I don't think that Biohazard explained all that well. Like, how is it, for instance, that Ethan can sit there and, or Mia, and regenerate these? You know what? That's part of the house now, so we're not changing it. Ethan can literally sit there and lose a hand and reattach it like it's nothing. Yes, I know part of it was stapled on, but still, it's odd. Odd to say in the least that that's what, you know, happened. I know probably, obviously, it has something to do with Evelyn, and it has to do with the environment he was in, because Evelyn was able to regenerate and bring people back from the dead. So it's very possible that they explained that in Village. It just feels rather odd that it was not touched on. And it could have been in documents that I missed, or maybe that was the connection that was supposed to be made, was that it's because of Evelyn and the environment that they're in that Ethan's able to sit there and sustain all these injuries and be able to come out of it okay. Like, yeah, I know he's got these magical healing herbs and stuff like that, but I mean, come on. It's not going to reattach somebody's hand in perfect working order and make it, you know, whole again. That's magic at that point. I mean, yes, I know it's fantasy and it's not real, but still. But that was, I think my only complaint was that I wish they had touched base on that a bit more. It sort of just, if you're not really, I guess, casting a critical eye, it's just something that's not, it's just taken as part of the story. It's like, oh, well, of course, you know, why not? But it's, I don't know. It could have been explained in the DLC. I've not played the DLC, so I don't know. But hopefully it'll be touched on in Village and be like, hey, so Ethan, you remember when you lost your hand and you grew, well, you didn't grow it back, but you reattached it and it worked fine? Well, this is why. That would be very interesting. And then I could be like, okay, well, I see why they just didn't say anything, because they wanted to use it as a reveal for Village, you know. It's very possible. And honestly, I'm excited to see what more they add to the lore from that was kind of started in 7, because as I indicated in the descriptions of my videos, that was my first time ever playing a Resident Evil game. I didn't grow up playing them. I never really looked into the stories. I mean, I watched the movies, which I know were related, but not related. I know, but I've never played the games up until I played Biohazard and had a fantastic time. I do know that was like one of the first times they had kind of incorporated the first person aspect of it. I know the rest of them were was like over the shoulder, like third person view, but I got distracted and forgot what I was doing. But it was really good, really really nice world building and kind of building upon a world that already was in existence and had lore already. But I'm excited to see how they expand upon it again in Village. We need another layer of glass here. If you haven't figured it out, I don't think I said it already. I'm just working on building a house because it's something to do while I talk about this. It honestly, I think this would be one of the few times that as a player, I would honestly recommend somebody who has never played Resident Evil games. I would recommend jumping in at 7 because it gives kind of a game a launching point almost akin to how should I phrase this? Akin to something most games don't like. Obviously, like if you're watching any media that you consume, starting at the beginning is usually the best point. But for this, I would argue that if the way games are modeled today, that it would be good to start here instead of going back to the very beginning, because having not played the games before, I was still able to, me personally, to draw these conclusions and be like, okay, well, obviously, due to the information available in the game, this stuff has happened before. Obviously, like the incident on the ship where the magazine was talking about Raccoon City, like 16 years on. This isn't the first time something like this has happened, but they create such a world and environment in Village or in Biohazard that you're not left really wondering, like, well, what's going on here? It just feels like in itself that they crafted such a well-told story that you're not completely left in the dark as to what's going on. And I find that to be a very high mark of storytelling, is when you can bring somebody in that's never played the games before and still not even lead them by the hand, but still sit there and have them understand, like, oh, okay, this is what's going on, and this is where we're at as the character, and this is not something I'm completely ignorant of or something that I feel like I'm missing out on by starting here. So in one of the rare instances, I would say this is a good place to jump in and kind of start your Resident Evil experience, because it was it tells a good enough story that you're not left ignorant of what's going on, and it's able to fully express itself without leading you by the hand and basically telling you, okay, this is what's happened in the past, blah, 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 this is where we're at. It's just like, here you are, draw your own conclusions. It's very well done storytelling. So I think to finish this out, we'll get some more cobblestone and make a nice little arched roof. All right, we're going to add the finishing touches. Let's get rid of this. And all right. And we're going to get that here and put a torch on top. Okay, not on top. I had torches later. Or at least at some point. But get this cobblestone moved away from here, and we have an almost nice little house. It kind of has, well, you know, it's a little bit unique, modern build, you know. But yeah, our house is finished. Go ahead and step in here, pick up the trash, okay? But seriously, if you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe and turn on that bell notification. Keep an eye out for the Resident Evil Village video, the first part that should come up or come out on Wednesday. And if you enjoyed this, maybe I'll make this kind of a thing after I finish a game. Just kind of come into a different game or do Minecraft again and just kind of sit and chat for a little bit. But other than that, I will see you in the next one. Bye.